All right, let's get started. Thank you, everyone, for joining CRIO's first ever annual Partner Expo event. We hope to have these every year as our partners program grows. So today, without further ado, is a recruitment support day. So we hope that from these short, quick, impactful sessions, you will, extract and learn about what our partner solutions are and how they're going to help you work smarter, not harder in CRIO. So first, we are going to introduce Paul Neiman from Areti Health, one of our partners, our recruiting partners. And let me just go ahead and spotlight. All right, take it away, Paul.
Awesome. Good morning, and thank you for having me. Let me share my screen. This is usually the hardest part about all of this. Let me see. Let me know, please, when it comes up. It should be up and running, right?
Yes, all good.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Good deal. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Neyman. I'm one of the co-founders for Areti Health, and we are a full-stack AI recruitment solution that partners and integrates seamlessly with CRIO. Very honored to be here today. Let's jump right into it. First things first, why do we exist? To paraphrase JFK, we choose to do things not because they're easy, but because they're hard. Recruitment is very difficult. I'm sure all of you know this stats just kind of in the back of your mind. The majority of trials end up being terminated trials because they fail to recruit enough people. You usually spend about 1/3 of your time on a study recruiting compared to everything else. And the stats are only getting worse because the number of trials is increasing. And so you find yourself competing for the pool of people that isn't growing all that much. In the United States, it's only 4% of the US adult population. You find yourself competing study to study, site to site, and sometimes even within the site, you find yourself competing for these people to which study they would be a better fit for. And so it becomes critical to engage these people, find these people first, engage them as soon as possible, pre-screen them and enroll them into a study as quick as you can do it. The typical bottleneck is site response time from the moment people express their interest. And you hear this anecdotally all the time. I filled out a form, nobody got back to me for weeks or sometimes even months, and I lost all my interest. It is imperative to get those leads processed as quick as possible at the peak of their intent. But the sites simply aren't able to do it, not because they don't want to, but because you're stretched thin and overwhelmed. There's all these other things to do, like actually running a study. And so this is where we come in. We've designed an end-to-end AI workflow where we first do precision patient matching. We identify patients either from National Health Exchange, or we mine your EMRs, or we look into your CTMS, identify those that would be a good fit from the start. And so that already speed runs your enrollment. Then we reach out to them using generative AI. We call them, we text them, we email them, we talk them through Facebook Messenger and so on. Allow them to ask any questions they may have about the study. It's complete free-form interaction. We're able to negotiate and navigate pretty much any single question that is study related. We pre-screen them, so make sure that they are a fit for a study. And then we enroll them directly into your CTMS. So from the point of view of a CRC, everything happens automatically. The patients are located, they are reached out to, they're screened, and then we create appointments directly in CRIO. We create patient and subject entries where you can look up the entire interaction, what transpired, how these people responded on a pre-screen, were there any hesitations, were there any difficulties, did they change the answer mid-flow and so on, so that you, as a experienced CRC, can zero in directly there, decide whether this is a qualified potential, and then continue on. Now, as an additional benefit, if the patient is fully qualified, we can reach out onto the Health Exchange Information Network and pull their entire chart for you to review before you bring the patient on site so that you can minimize screen failures. So all of that results in a minimum of 10x lift over traditional recruitment, which is completely manual and very laborious. We have 95% accuracy with EMR matching. And then, of course, that accelerates your own operations and accelerates everything, the entire chain. And so these are just some of the examples of the networks that we work with today. You can see there's a variety of them by size and by specialty. Very proud to have them as partners. And we'll talk a little bit more, time permitting, about some of the case studies that we've assembled so far. Just some of the stats right off the bat, kind of 10x acceleration over diabetic neuropathy study, 11x over early Alzheimer, 9x over asthma. We just finished up a central campaign that we ran for a migraine study, and the site that we supported ended up being top enrolling site. So overall, the technology is impressively beneficial to everyone in this pyramid, from the sponsor, the CRO, to the sites. And of course, sites benefit from everything from, from the acceleration of the outreach to operational efficiency. And so today we focus on the two funnels of patient acquisition. One is what we call mass outreach. So we look into national exchanges where we have a view of about 250 million patients that we could identify and look for in the study. We mine your EMR. We look into your CTMS. So CRIO is a perfect example of that. Every time we come to a site to support a study, we say, look, you probably have thousands of leads that could be engaged, but you don't have the resources to call on them, but they previously participated in the study, or they previously shown interest and they could be a good fit. We'll throw them into the hopper. Let us run through them, identify a good fit, and then engage them and see if they will come into the study again. And then you have what we would call database leads, where sometimes in a study, a sponsor will acquire bulk leads, and we can reach out to them and again, vet them that they are indeed good, that the phone number is still there, that the owner hasn't moved, that their medical history is correct, and then qualify them and enroll them into the study. And then the other funnel is real-time engagement, which is sort of organic. This is where you have your leads coming from Meta, Facebook or Instagram, Facebook Messenger, or from your landing pages. So this is where you engage those leads day, night, 24/7, weekends, holidays, really nonstop, and we can scale as much as we need to with your campaign as your campaign scales. So the moment they fill out a form, we immediately begin that engagement. Everyone gets a customized message. We reach out multiple times. We set up a cadence where we try various approaches, from compensation to altruism to interest advancing medicine, so on and so forth. And so a little bit about precision matching. We look and focus on the study protocol. We run our patient matching algorithm. We established relationship with your PIs, and so we signed a consent with them. And through that, we're able to start pulling the records and identify both structured and unstructured data. So with the structured data, this is your custom fields and EMRs and everything else. But as everybody knows, EMRs tend to be, the hygiene leaves much to be desired. And so it is critical to look into unstructured data as well, which is PDF notes, text notes, images, handwritten notes, everything that allows us to identify this patient as a potential fit, and then again, begin that multi-touch cadence of engagement. And so the patient journey looks something like this. A lead is sourced, whether it came from EMR record or CTMS or some lead database, or an organically expressed interest, explicit interest. They filled out a form on the landing page, they filled out a form on Facebook. We begin that immediate engagement. We talk to them pathetically in their language. We support over 50 languages today. We do work globally. We're deployed today in Germany, Belgium. We're deploying in France and Poland. We've supported studies in APAC. We supported studies in Canada. And so we talk to them pretty much anything that they want to know. Roughly a quarter of the patients will want to ask questions. They're on the fence before they move on. We allow them to self-schedule. This is where integration with CRIO comes in again. We pull real-time calendar. We can set up things like primary coordinator and secondaries and so on, or a round robin maybe. We pre-screen them. If they happen to fall off, we'll try to recapture. So you were filling out, you were answering the questionnaire, and then the doorbell rang. Dogs barked, and you got distracted. We'll try to bring you back. And then if you're successful, we'll run a nurturing campaign to make sure you actually show up through the door. Like the most important part here is pulling you through the door. We are integrated with site tech, naturally integrated with CRIO. We do work with what we will call professional calendars, Nihilus, Google 365, Acuity Scheduling, Outlook. We're working on Aptitude integration right now as well. So that kind of shows the variety of technology that we can support. And so what we've shown is that we can close recruitment in as short as 2 or 3 weeks. We top out at about 60% conversion rates. We have visibility into about 250 million patients with EMR records. This is actually obsolete. We're now up to, I think, 47,000 patients scheduled or so. We've completed 150 studies in 30 different therapeutic areas. And then the work hours saved. It's kind of hard to put a large estimate on it. Nobody will believe it. But really, if you think about it, if it takes about 20 minutes at a minimum for a chart review, and then you run your phone tag to reach out for 1 patient, so that's 3 patients, that's already an hour. So there is a massive savings of time and resources and effort applying AI and generative AI to do this. So we talked about patient experience. From any lead source, we go into an engagement, conversation, scheduling, and nurturing. And then for the side, we start with leads. We begin our outreach. We do scheduling. We perform complete automation as far as inserting all this data into your CTMS and providing you a dashboard with a real-time view of how your campaign is doing. And then we also handle special requests. So if anything is going sideways, if they're asking things that are not anywhere study related, we'll try to guide them back. But if we're unable to, we can exit out and do a warm transfer. And I think I'm almost out of time. Nikki, is that correct? Right? How many minutes do I have left? 3 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah,
3 minutes.
Good
3 minutes is good. We'll run through a couple of case studies here. Elite Clinical, for example, it's a sizable network. They run about 100 studies or so a year. We started with Facebook lead conversion, very targeted ads, great response on those ads. Today, we power pretty much everything for them, including working in the therapeutic area. So you can arrive at a site landing page and you can just ask what kind of studies you're running, and we'll try to figure out where you are a best fit. Early Alzheimer, we mined the EMR and identified 3,000 patients, ended up with scheduling 305 visits, all in a matter of weeks. This is an Eli Lilly study. I think they're still under observation. It's a very long period. But the response was overwhelming. And what's fantastic is that in this particular study, the average age was 60 to 80 years old, and they all engaged with the tech very well. So we often get questions like, how do people engage compared to a human? And the answer is yes, they engage universally well. And when we measured ourselves in demographics, we knew the demographics because we mined the EMR. We were equally distributed along across all ethnicities, from African Americans to Hispanic, Latino, non-Hispanic, so on and so forth. Which shows there is no bias in how we approach recruitment, and it works universally well. Asthma, same idea, mined EMRs. We actually identified about 1,500 leads, but ran through 1,000, and then we closed the recruitment again in a matter of weeks here. So massive acceleration in enrollment. Migraine study, this was a central campaign experience. Very unique experience for us, but we're very proud of having achieved that. Overall, as I mentioned, the site that we supported ended up being a top enrolling site. And we were now across everything from managing the outbound campaign to processing these people, engaging the database leads for the site and other sites that we supported, and then ultimately reporting all of this to the CRO and to the sponsor. All right, I think I'll pause here. I'm like 1 minute short, but I think that was good. All right. Are we addressing questions, Nikki, on this, or is it just
Yeah,
straight up
we have
presentation?
about a minute. Oh, it just turned to 15.
Okay.
But for those of you, if you do have questions, feel free to jump into the CRIO Partner Directory in the Help Center, find Areti Health's listing, and you can click the contact button to submit an inquiry. So thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, we'll be back in 5 minutes for our next session from Delfa. Thank you. All right, everyone. We are back with our next session. Once again, my name is Nikki Gandhi. I am CRIO's community manager, and I have Anna Blackburn here with me from our business development team. And it is my pleasure to introduce Gustav with Delfa as our next session in our recruitment series today. So Delfa is a recruitment partner of ours, and without further ado, Gustav, I will hand it to you.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you very much for the introduction and setting up everything, Nikki. And yeah, great to meet the whole CRIO community here. I'm Gustav, CTO and co-founder of Delfa. And yeah, I would like to make today's presentation very practical. So I'm also going to share my screen here. Hopefully everyone sees that. And yeah, so what do we do here at Delfa? We also care deeply about patient recruitment. And what we've seen working with sites is that the patient recruitment is often overwhelmed. The studies can be very confusing when they start, when they stop. Then you actually got approved for a study and then they start enrolling. So to actually line up recruitment resources with when you actually need the recruitment is very tough. And additionally, it's hard to ever have enough recruitment if you have a big patient database. And what the consequences of not optimal recruitment is that we've seen that there's slow outreach. Often you just don't do that second follow-up call, even though you know maybe the patient is interested. You don't answer that email because there's a new lead that just came in. And the result is that there are forgotten participants, people that would have liked to participate in the study, but there just wasn't enough resources to actually engage them, which means a participant missed out on an opportunity as well as the site on additional revenue. So how do we deal with this at Delfa? Basically, there's three main things how we tackle this problem. And the one is to be totally autonomous. So we use AI to automatically reach out to the patients, to do a voice call with them, to pre-qualify them, to reach out via SMS, via email, engage them totally automatically so that it's not additional burden on the recruitment that you have. At the same time, we know it's more about than just reaching out to patients. It's also about adhering to the workflow that you already have set up. If it's like a completely different workflow, there's a lot of additional effort to take that information and put it into your workflow. So that's kind of the second pillar which we really care about, which is integration. And I'll show in a live demo how far we actually go to really make sure we're sticking close to the processes that you already have. And lastly, the thing is, if you do everything autonomously, there's amazing data that you collect. And we want to share this with you and actually give you an overview of exactly how well your study is going so that you have sufficient time to react to make sure you reach those enrollment goals that you set to the sponsor. Now, like I said, I want to make this very practical. So I'm just going to jump right into CRIO and let's see how does our solution actually work. So yeah, I'm here in a CRIO sandbox environment and I have this mock study. And the way that we've set this up for this particular workflow is that as soon as someone is added as a patient to prospect for the study, Delfa should reach out to that patient. So let's create a patient here, just very manually, and let's just give them a name, maybe like Jack Miller. Let's choose a date of birth for them. And I'm actually in Switzerland right now, so let me put in a Swiss number. And then let's say we got this through a Facebook lead. So yeah, we see our new prospect, Jack Miller, has been created. And I'll just take a moment where CRIO is basically communicating to our service and we'll get a call. That's what we're getting right now.
this is Alexis on behalf of Protea Clinical Research. Is this Jack Miller speaking?
Yes, that's me.
Hi, Jack. I'm calling because you previously expressed interest in participating in clinical research. We're currently recruiting for a study involving a vaccine for Epstein-Barr virus. This call is automated and being recorded for quality and training purposes. I won't be able to provide any medical advice. Is now a good time to spend about 20 minutes to see if you might be a good match for the study?
Yeah, sure.
Great. Before we dive into the study details, I need to confirm some of your contact information and medical history. Can you please confirm your date of birth?
Just like before that, what is the compensation for the study?
Of course. For this study, you'll be compensated up to $250 per office visit, $100 per telephone call, and $10 for completing diary requirements. The study lasts about 19 months, with at least 12 visits to our research site and 11 phone calls. Let me know if you have any other questions about that. Now, can you confirm your date of birth?
Yeah, my date of birth is the 17th of April, 1985.
Thank you. Just to confirm, your date of birth is April 17th, 1985, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Perfect, thank you. Can you now provide your current full address, including the street, city, and zip code?
Yeah, I live in 367 Garden Lane in Atlanta, Georgia, and the zip code is 30307.
Got it. Just to confirm, your address is 367 Garden Lane, that's Garden Lane in Atlanta, Georgia, zip code 30307. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Thank you. Can you now share your current weight and height?
Yeah, so my weight is 300 pounds and I'm 6 feet tall.
Thanks for sharing. Just to confirm, your weight is 300 pounds and your height is 6 feet tall, correct?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Now I'd like to understand your medical and surgical history. What medications are you currently taking? This includes prescriptions, over-the-counter meds, vitamins, or supplements.
So at the moment I take losartan twice a day.
Thanks for letting me know. Can you share when you started taking losartan, what condition you're treating with it, and the dosage you take? For example, is it 50 milligrams once a day?
Yeah, so it started in 2008 and it's for hypertension. And yeah, it is 50 milligrams a day.
Got it. So you've been taking losartan since 2008 for hypertension at a dosage of 50 milligrams twice a day. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you. Are you taking any other medications, including over-the-counter ones, vitamins, or supplements?
No, that's it.
Thanks for confirming. Do you have any other medical conditions that you're not currently treating with medication that we should know about?
No, that's all.
Got it. Thank you. Do you have any allergies? If yes, can you share what causes the reaction and how severe it is?
Yeah, I have hay fever.
Thanks for sharing. How severe is your hay fever and what typically triggers it? For example, is it mild, moderate, or severe? And is it caused by pollen, dust, or something else?
I think it's pollen and it's like just my eyes get itchy.
Thank you for clarifying. So your hay fever is triggered by pollen and causes itchy eyes, and it sounds like it's mild. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Perfect, thank you. Do you smoke or vape?
So that's just a small example of how these calls would sound like. That's what the participant will actually hear. And what's happening as we speak is all of this information is going to our back-end system where we process all of this information and push it back into CRIO so that you have like complete oversight of what happened on the call, what information was shared, and at the same time that it just works like your recruiter, so it easily fits in. Now, it takes a minute or two for that to happen. So while we wait for that, I'll just show you our platform that we have in parallel. Now, this platform is meant as an overview of what we're doing. So, for example, if we're on a study and there's thousands of leads that we're reaching out, like to track all of that in CRIO and the stuff maybe that some of your participants are doing and some that all are doing, it's hard to, it's hard to have that overview. And this is what we use that's why we have this dashboard that shows you like, okay, which leads are we reaching out to, which ones are still in the funnel, how many have we connected, how many have we reached, how many are potentially qualified. And this really gives you a nice overview of what's the progress on this specific study. Now, like I said, we go deep on integration. So like we really take this all the way to show you, okay, how many people actually enrolled. So you have the whole overview of like from lead to randomization, which really shows you what is your ROI, for example, on a marketing campaign that you have. And to give you additional overview of our system, we also show exactly here how we reached out to a specific patient, how many times we called them, how many of these calls actually reached them. And you can also go into these calls and listen to the audio and download it, look at the transcript. So we really don't want this to be a black box. It's more like additional many recruiters that's doing work, and you have full overview of what they're doing. Now, this should have given us enough time that we push some information back into Jack Miller's account. So let's go and see what happened here. So yeah, we just called Jack Miller, and the first thing you can see is like that the date of birth has been correctly updated. So the demographics are there. And then if we go into our profile, here you see also we put down the other demographics like the address, and we can go into traits. Here we see we populated height and weight, automatically calculated BMI. And like we really try and work exactly like your recruiters do. I see the medical history hasn't been populated here yet. It just takes a bit more time because there's more processing done on our end. But we really populate everything in traits that you want to have populated, just like a human recruiter would do. And at the same time, we also log all the interactions. So for example, here you see we inform you in CRIO that we're actually reaching out to this patient. Here we summarize the interaction with that patient. We said like, we're not sure about eligibility yet. And the reason is because we didn't go through the full screening, and have a short summary about the call itself. So that was really to give you a very practical overview of what we do. Now I will try and just finish with the last slide where we see we've done this before with many other sites. We've worked with one site on a complex migraine study where we've achieved 125% of their enrollment target in 1 week. So we're able to roll up very fast and make sure that you reach that enrollment target. We can scale, we can do thousands of calls a day. So you never have this problem anymore where you have to really time your recruitment resources perfectly. We can scale instantaneously as soon as you get that green light for the study. And we're flexible, like we work with the workflows that you work and make sure that we don't that we are not additional burden to you, but like really provide value. So yeah, that's Delfa solution. Happy to give you a deeper demo and talk more about it if you're interested. Thank you for the opportunity to present.
Thank you, Gustav. Appreciate it. So for those of you who have questions, since we are doing short, quick, impactful sessions, you will get responses after this day's expo is over. We will get back to you on those. And then if you want to reach Delfa, if you want to contact them, submit an inquiry. Once again, don't forget you can find them in the partner directory, in the help center, if you're a CRIO user. Just click the contact button and you will be able to submit an inquiry and speak with Gustav and his team. So thank you. We will be back again for another impactful session in 5 minutes. Thanks, everyone. All right, everyone, time for our next session. We are going to hear from Johnny from our partners Accelerate Recruitment, and they are another recruiting partner, of course. So please do take it away, Johnny. I am going to spotlight you and feel free to go ahead.
Thanks, Nikki. Hi, everyone, and thank you for putting this together for all of us to be able to come on here and share. Great to see Paul and the other attendees, Gustav as well. Great to see you guys as well. So I'll kind of take it away. I'm going to share my screen, share a couple of slides, and also share a demo I know that there were some questions on the chat regarding some IRB approval stuff, so it'll be a good segue for me to touch base on that based on what we do. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully you guys are able to see that. So here at Accelerate Recruitment, we didn't reinvent the wheel when it comes to our actual recruitment process and how we integrate with CRIO. I'll share a little bit about what we do and then our integration and how powerful it is. So what we like to do is we like to allow the sites or the sponsors to take control of the recruitment process hands-on. So we attract potentials, and I'll kind of show you what we do in terms of the ad work. We obtain those qualified fresh referrals, which is very important. We don't like to recycle leads. Doing clinical research for over 20 years, we've come to the conclusion that more often than not, recycling leads eventually leads to just a backlog of potential subjects that are simply participating in a study because they want to participate in the study due to the whatever they may be getting out of it rather than trying to find a solution for their condition. And we're allowing you to also automate all of your communications, monitor any aspects of the recruitment, allowing the sponsor to also have visibility. So go ahead and go next. So how are we maximizing your exposure? So we do everything that we do, everything that is patient facing needs to be IRB approved. So I know again that there were some questions in the chat regarding IRB approval marketing materials. Anything that is related to recruiting that a patient is going to see, hear, or read has to be IRB approved. There are some instances in which you can get away with it if the information is very broad, but it's usually not a risk the sponsor likes to run into. They definitely don't want to get a notice. So more often than not, if you're questioning whether or not this should be IRB approved, just get it IRB approved to be on the safe side. So everything that we do is IRB approved, is compliant with the IRB, reviewed by the sponsor at the site level, at the sponsor level, and then at the IRB level before it gets published. So we do create an IRB approval package at the initial phases. And then these are some examples of the ads that individuals are seeing as they are potentially searching, or they're in Meta, whether it is Facebook, Instagram, whether they're on TikTok, Hulu, whatever the case may be, Google. These are some of the ad examples that we create and they are able to see. And then how are we generating these pre-screened potential subjects? So they're coming off of a custom landing page that we create specific to the study. And based on the pre-screener questionnaire, which it's rule-based, then they could eventually either qualify, not qualify. From there, they're transferred over to TrueView, which is where the magic happens with CRIO. So let me briefly go ahead and show you. Again, these are some of the ads that you are able to run into as you're potentially have searched or have the condition. This is what the IRB approval package that we create looks like. So it has the landing page, the information on the landing page, mobile and desktop version, any text that is included in the landing page. Again, any information that is related to the study that is patient or referral phasing needs to be IRB approved. Same thing with any images. These are all the images that essentially are recycled through the campaign. The pre-screener form, which essentially goes through exclusion and inclusion criteria that will either qualify or disqualify the potential participant. And as they go through the screen, we use conditional logic. If, for example, it's a female answering yes, it's a female, it will ask them if they're breastfeeding or pregnant, whereas if it's a male, it won't ask you that question. And then again, you go through these questions. We do also have automated messaging, which it's also included in the pre-screener form, or rather, I'm sorry, in the IRB approval package. Again, everything that is patient-facing, we like to get it IRB approved. This is essentially the web page or the landing page that we create as we kick off the campaign. Again, this is done at site level or at the sponsor level. Anywhere in the page, you're able to click, are you eligible? And this transfers you to that pre-screening form. So as they're going through the page, reading the information about the study or about the condition, they're able to click, are you eligible? That will then send them down to the pre-screener form where they will put in a zip code. Is going to give them the site that is closest to them. They're going to go next. Again, it's asking them specific information about them. It asks them if they have, again, any specific conditions related to the exclusion or exclusion criterias. Again, their sex, using the conditional logic. And then lastly, it's going to tell you that you appear you may qualify for the trial, a coordinator would like to contact you and provide the information. So once they provide the information, this is again where the integration with CRIO happens. So from here, we have three different integrations with CRIO. We have one that is an instant post, we have on demand or manual post, and then we have a 360 integration. So let me go ahead and change the screen actually here. Let me log out and show you this one first. So in the manual instant integration, in that case, the referral is transferred over here to TrueView, which automatically transfers the information also to CRIO. So you're able to essentially have that information that the potential participant has filled. And if they go through one of our secondary screeners, which is an additional service that we offer, essentially asking them more in-depth questions, then from there, all that information again is transferred over to CRIO. So you're able to see it and take on the life cycle of the referral from then on out. Now, let's say depending on the CRIO, not integration or rather version that you have, if you aren't able to do, or if you need any automatic communications and then you want to transfer over that life cycle, maybe once they've become a subject, then you can go ahead and utilize TrueView, which is this platform that I'm about to show you, and then fill out that information, schedule the referral, and now send that information over to CRIO doing it manually. So you could do it either way. And then lastly, our third integration is a calendar integration, which is our calendar sync, as we call it. And in that calendar sync, at any given time, any information that is populated into our system is populated into CRIO, especially if you're a site that has individuals that are just scheduling or very early in the referral stages working with that referral. It may be useful because the coordinator, once they receive the information in CRIO, they already have that initial visit scheduled and all that information is ready to go. So jumping into what TrueView looks like and its capabilities. So on the top right hand, you have essentially what we call the scoreboard, which lets you know if you have any unread emails, text messages, any new referrals, any callbacks, or any updates that you need to do on visits. Again, all of this information is transferred over to CRIO. So if you want to do any of these actions in CRIO, you can. If you want to do them in TrueView, you can. And again, once the coordinator is taking action or in that initial visit, they're able to make their notes or go off of CRIO. So let's take a look at Lady Gaga here. On the left-hand side, you have all of the referral information. You're able to directly make calls from the system. You're able to send text messages or listen to any voicemails, as well as send emails. So as let's say the coordinator or the individual that will be scheduling is going to reach out to this initial referral, they will be able to go ahead. Let's say that they just got this new referral and they're reaching out. It's unlikely that the potential referral is answering that first call. I mean, we all screen our calls. I usually don't answer a number that I don't know. So once they click left voicemail, send email, SMS, and callback, and click save, what this is going to do is it's going to send them an email, send them a text message, and schedule a callback in 72 hours. And by doing so, it's going to send them an email saying, hey, this is so and so calling you from the name of the site. Please reach us back at this number. This is regarding a study that you filled out XYZ information for. You may qualify for whatever the compensation is. And then it'll give you the information of the site. And this is site specific. So you'll be able to send them that text message, that email, and then schedule that callback. That way it's like land, air, and sea. They're able to, if they don't see the text message, they see the email. And obviously you left them the voicemail. So they're getting three forms of communication. If you leave a second voicemail, we're just scheduling a callback. And then same thing for a third voicemail. We feel like if you're reaching out to a potential referral 3 times over a 1 week period and they're not responding to you, that's probably not a referral you really want in your study because they're going to be inconsistent. All the other options that you see here, schedule callback, not interested, excluded, they're kind of self-explanatory. We are integrated with health information exchange. So if you need medical records, you're able to pull them directly from here. And again, all of this information is transferred over to CRIO. Once you schedule them, let's go ahead and click scheduled here. So once you schedule the potential participant, let's schedule them for Friday at noon. Oops, let's do actually Friday at 2 p.m. We are also integrated with Lyft, so you're able to directly provide transportation from the system itself. We put in an address there. Let's say we'll pick them up 20 minutes ahead of time. It lets them know that it's about a 14-minute drive. So 20 minutes so it can buy them some time. Let's click next. Now this will let you know the likelihood of a driver being available, the cost of the ride, and whether the site is paying for this yourself or you have the sponsor that's covering for this. This is a seamless way that it will allow, again, the first person that's making a contact with the referral to schedule that initial visit and get them up and going. You don't have to necessarily worry about anything else if they miss the ride or if they don't have a reliable transportation. You can do it directly from here. Once they have been scheduled, now let's go ahead and schedule them without the ride. Let's go ahead and do Friday again at 2 p.m. So now once they have been scheduled, our system will automatically update, and let's go to all referrals here, and it will show that they're ready for a screening visit. Again, all of this information is transferred over to CRIO. If you're doing any of these steps in CRIO and for whatever reason you want to come back, let's say that you want to schedule them through Lyft, through our portal, you're able to simply come back and all this information will be updated. Once they've been screened and they sign their informed consent form, it lets you know that once you transfer them over from a referral to a subject, you can revert that. And let's go ahead and let's go to subjects, and you're going to see Lady Gaga here under subjects. And again, pretty much you'll be able to schedule any future visits concurrently or in that first initial visit. If you have, let's say, a list, you're working on a study that has 15 visits or 10 visits, you'll be able to select them from the dropdown. You'll be able to schedule them. And again, all of this information transferred over to CRIO in real time, and you don't have to worry about putting information into different systems or using the systems. Usually from this point onward is when we see the drop off in participants that are using both TrueView and CRIO continue now moving forward to use CRIO. I mean, there's really, in terms of capabilities, there's nothing else in TrueView that you would have to do. Everything else you can go ahead and take it over from CRIO, but that's pretty much it. I don't want to drag it on, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward. We use it at our sister company that's a sidearm of ours, and we have a site network in the Tampa St. Pete area. And this is kind of like how TrueView came about. So we think of sites first. But yeah, open to any questions, or if you'd like a full demo of the platform, I'd be more than happy to show that as well.
Thank you so much, Johnny. Again, if you'd like to find Accelerate in the CRIO Partner Directory, their listing will be in there under the recruitment services. You can feel free to submit an inquiry to them if you have any. So thank you so much, Johnny. We will be back for our next presentation and our last one for today at 12 p.m. Eastern. So thanks. All right, everyone, welcome back. We are now on to our last session for today's day one of the CRIO Partner Expo. And I have Tran here with Grove, another one of our recruiting partners, who's going to present next. So Tran, go ahead and take it away. I'm going to spotlight you. There we go.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. I know I'm the last one and it's been a whole hour, so I'll make this one quick so that I can get all your questions answered. Great to be here today. I know all of my peers before me have kind of motivated the problem, the solution. What I wanted to do in the last 15 minutes here is to just really talk about what implementation looks like and how we can take you through that process. So maybe just to refresh everyone a little bit before we begin. I'm Tran, co-founder of Grove AI, computer scientist by training. I used to work in the hospital doing clinical research, building systems, so I understand your pain of the many different patient solutions, studies, everything that's out there, and really built an all-in-one system to help you manage all of that. And so just really quickly, I'm going to walk you through what our solution is, and then help address some of the questions that's been going on in the chat about IRB approval and some of the other things and how we do that. So for our platform, very similar to the ones that have been shown before, what we do is also engage and make sure that your work is streamlined as much as possible, helping you spend more time with the patients. That's the number one feedback that we get from visiting many different sites across the country and working on very different therapeutic areas. And so our agent is called Grace, and Grace is a very well-trained agent, training to follow your leads and make sure that, we're helping you in whatever way possible to recruit and engage your patients for your trials. And so I know there were a few demos already, so I'm not going to repeat another demo. We do integrations deeply into everything: CRIO, Advara, real-time, Salesforce, Facebook, anything you name it. We have a system in order to integrate deeply into that system. If after this presentation, you wanted to try talking to one of these agents yourself, I know there were a few questions in the chat about how do participants feel interacting with an AI. I totally get it. I also get phone calls from AI, and it can be a surprise at times. So what we really recommend is when we work with our customers, we make sure to work with them to collect the correct consent. That's very important to ensure that we're notifying these participants that we are engaging with AI and making it a very easy process for patients to know that this is an AI, they are talking to one, and how they can navigate and escalate that process. So if you wanted to try an AI yourself after this and have never seen one, you can go on our website, grovetrials.com. You can put in your name, your email. This is really just if you were signing up as a participant. And when you put in your phone number, you'll be able to get a call immediately from Grace on your own phone. And I'm not going to do all of this today, but you can pick up and talk to the agent. I'll just do it really quickly here.
Hi, this is Grace, the world's most advanced AI clinical research agent from Grove AI. I am calling to demonstrate how I can help you speed up your trial enrollment timelines by qualifying, pre-screening, scheduling, and following up with the right participants for your trial. Would you like to see an example of how I pre-screen participants for a clinical trial?
Sure, but can you talk in Spanish? Actually, I don't speak English well.
Claro que sí. Hola, soy Grace, la asistente de investigación clínica más avanzada del
Okay,
mundo.
I'm going to stop it there because we have all the same capabilities of being able to follow your pre-screening scripts, enter it into CRIO, real-time, Advara, Clinical Conductor, your other customized systems, push it into Salesforce, whatever it is that you'd like. And I'll send this link in the chat afterwards so that you can go to this website and you can really dial the agent and play around and speak different languages yourself and really experience what that experience is like for patients. I think from our experience doing, I think now over 150,000 patients engaged on the phone via text, call, emails, we've really had a great experience and streamlined that process. And what we'll do for you is make sure that you're getting that highest conversion rates possible. So now maybe stepping a bit over into some of the other questions about compliance, IRB approval, and how do we know what's going on? There are several ways in which we do this, and our experience comes from streamlining a lot of site networks, large and small. So you name it, K2 Medical Research here with Sean Stanchion, or Solarion, the largest phase 1 CRO, or Dr. Papka, one of amazing Alzheimer's PI from CRC&J, which is a part of Pinnacle Research Network. I'm a clinical research with Dr. Mark. We've worked with over hundreds of sites, and if there is someone that you want to talk to, I can probably get you in touch with them so you can talk to these PIs, coordinators, and anyone yourself in order to hear what their experience was like. We work with IROs, SMOs, individual sites, integrated sites, private sites, academic sites, and so I can really get you in touch with anyone that you want to talk to so you can hear directly from them what the experience is like and make sure that you're comfortable with that. Okay, so I'm going to pause there. A few other things that I know, I just want this to be as helpful as possible. There are a few questions about compliance and what that looks like. So we have a whole compliance and trust report and dashboard. You can go on here to trust.grovetrials.com. We take compliance very seriously. We know this is a regulated industry, and you want to make sure you show your sponsors, your patients, and everyone that you are following all the latest guidelines and abiding by that. So we are SOC 2 compliant, HIPAA compliant, 21 CFR Part 11 compliant. We're getting ISO compliant, which is the latest framework for AI regulations. We work closely with the central IRBs. So we have I myself have talked very closely with, for example, the Advara team, the IRB team, in order to explain what this technology is. So the next time that you submit a pre-screening script, which we can help you with, for example, the IRB will know what the AI technology is that you're talking about here, in this case, Grace, and they'll be able to quickly streamline that process so that you can engage with patients in a compliant manner. We can also help you with the pre-screening script, the IRB submission, really anything that we can do. Our team is on it, and we create a personalized group chat. We're on texts and calls with you in order to ensure that you're getting your studies across. There's a bunch of different documents on here, compliance reports. If you want to read them all in depth and see how we do everything, we're very upfront about it. So feel free to go on here, request the documents. I will send them over to you so you can better understand. I'm also happy to help, and my compliance team can jump in as well after this to help explain all of the different compliance processes that may be involved. And then the last and third part I wanted to talk about is we know we talked a lot about features. We do scheduling, pre-screening, integrations, data entry, data structuring, handoffs, anything that you can think of in order to help you streamline your process. One thing that's been really helpful as we work with the hundreds of different sites is as you scale this from one campaign to multiple campaigns across different sites and PIs and patients, there are lots of metrics being tracked. And so what we really do is we create a customized dashboard for you. And this is just one example here that I'm showing you as a de-identified anonymized dashboard. But for example, here, for this customer, they wanted to track all the different leads that were coming, how many calls, what are the hours saved, specifically for each campaign, each site, for each date range, and different tags, where the leads are coming from, where they are going to, and also diving into how many outbounds, inbounds, what's the pickup per day at the hour of the day so that we can optimize when the calls to the patients are. So we do very, very in-depth analytics in order to help you really streamline this process and understand when it is that we should be contacting patients. So, for example, we're not calling patients in the middle of the night when they're sleeping or any of those edge cases, which we've caught now. Other things that other sites have also found really helpful is our question analytics dashboard. This one really goes through what are all of the concerns that your patients are having. So one of the biggest blockers that I've seen from helping hundreds of sites with enrollment and engaging with patients is that a lot of times these patients don't participate because of simple things that they can't get answered. For example, we had a patient yesterday, she didn't know where to park, so she didn't show up to the site. And sometimes it's as simple as that, and we really want to help you catch that as soon as possible. And so what we do is take the thousands of calls that we do, and then break that down into, at the end of the week, when you sit down and look at your work, how can we really optimize this experience for patients? So for example, you see here, a lot of the patients had questions on, scheduling. So people wanted more slots in early March, and people asked about alcohol abstinence and other things. And what we really do is capture all of these different concerns that patients have so that you can improve your workflow, your site's workflow, submit that revision to the IRB to make a new pre-screening script or whatever it is that's necessary in order to make sure that this is a good experience for the patients, for your sites and everyone involved, because at the end of the day, that's what we want to do here with streamlining recruitment with AI. That's all I have. Happy to chat after this. Whether it's Growth solution or any other solution, I'm still happy to help just chat over what are some of the edge cases you can think about. And also, I've been in this field for a while now and am connected.
I think we might have lost her at the end. Anna, do you also have that? Okay. No worries. I think she was at the end, but thank you so much, Tran, for your presentation. We appreciate it. I just wanted to, as we, bring the Partner Expo Day 1 to a close, I wanted to just inform everyone how to get to CRIO's partner directory, so that you can find the partners from today, other partners that will, be there for your needs, to help you work smarter in CRIO with our integrated solutions from our partners. So let me just share my screen and then just a few minutes, and then we'll be done with the webinar here. So here I am as a CRIO user. I've logged in. You can go right here to the question mark to get to the Help Center. Now I'm going to go to the Partners tab. And when you click that, you'll be able to search by service category. So depending on your site's needs, you can, filter your search by category. Now, today it was a recruitment support focus. So any recruitment support with integrated solutions to CRIO, you can click any that have the API in parentheses, and those are partners with integrations to CRIO. So today we heard from Accelerate Recruitment, for example. There's a few things you can do here via the partner directory listing. CRIO really just wants to make it easy for our sites to connect, identify vendors. We have vetted our vendors in the partners program, our recruitment vendors specifically with integrations that you've heard from today. They have completed an exercise which they have, proven that they can understand our API documentation and create leads in CRIO, and all of the demos that you've seen today. So here you can see a little bit about what Accelerate Recruitment does. You can learn about their other services here. You can see ratings from other CRIO sites here. If you have worked with any of these partners, please feel free to leave a review. And then if you'd like to enable the API, it's a very quick and easy process. All you have to do is click Enable API. You can also leave an inquiry for any of these vendors, and you will directly reach the vendor within 3 business days. So it is very easy to find a partner that for the services that you're looking for your site. So we will see you again back tomorrow for day 2, another day of recruitment support, and for quick, easy solutions that integrate with CRIO. So thanks everyone for joining.